The night sky above Earth was never this bright before. Thousands of lights moved across the darkness, but they were not stars. They were fire. They were war. From the Mars orbital station, Lieutenant Lyra Kane watched in silence. Her hands trembled as red warning lights flashed across the control panels. She had seen battles before, but never like this. The Krathar Dominion, the most powerful alien empire in the galaxy, had come for Earth. They did not come to talk. They came to end humanity. Status report. Lyra shouted, but her voice was drowned by alarms. Communications were jammed. The defense satellites around Earth were burning one after another. Every time a bright flash appeared on her screen, it meant millions of lives were gone. On her main display, she saw New York vanish under a beam of white energy. The shockwave spread across continents. Moments later, another city, Tokyo, then Berlin, then Cairo, all gone. The Krathar ships didn't stop. Their attack was clean, organized, perfect. Humanity fought back, but their missiles and lasers barely scratched the alien shields. Within hours, the entire human defense grid fell silent. Earth was dying. Far above, on the Krathar command ship Zorthal Prime, the alien leader Warlord Zyren watched the destruction with cold satisfaction. He turned to his advisor and said, "Let this world burn. Let them serve as a warning to all who resist the Dominion." The advisor bowed. "What of the survivors, my lord?" Zyren smiled, a cruel, tooth-filled smile. "There will be no survivors." Back on Mars Station, Lyra's eyes filled with tears. Her commander's voice broke through the static. "This is Admiral Reyes to all human stations. Fall back, do not engage. Earth is lost." Lyra could not believe it. Lost? Everything. Her home, her family, her people, gone in a single night. Her hand touched the small photo of her brother she kept on her desk. He was down there, on Earth. Then a second voice came through the comms, soft, cracked, but full of fire. "This is Captain Jonah Hale, Lunar Defense. To all humans still listening, this is not the end. We will rise again." The message repeated again and again. Even as the moon base exploded, the signal kept playing, echoing into the void. Lyra didn't know it yet, but that message would travel far beyond human space. It would reach the edge of the galaxy, and it would light a spark that the Krathar would one day regret. Hours passed. The alien fleet pulled back, leaving Earth covered in smoke and ash. The once blue planet now looked like a dying ember. On Mars Station, survivors gathered in silence. No one spoke. Some cried. Others just stared out the window, unable to believe what they saw. Admiral Reyes finally appeared on the main screen. His face was pale, tired, but calm. "To all remaining human outposts," he said, "this is a dark day for our kind. The Krathar have taken our home. But humanity does not end here. We will survive. We will rebuild. And when the time comes, we will fight back." His words were brave, but inside, he doubted if there was anything left to fight with. Half the fleet destroyed. Command centers gone. Humanity had never faced an enemy like this before. Still, something inside him refused to die. In the shadows of the burning world, deep under the ruins of old Earth, something stirred. A secret facility buried for decades came to life. Old machines powered on. Hidden computers blinked. A signal started to build, stronger, faster, spreading across the stars. An old AI, long thought destroyed, activated itself and spoke one line. Protocol Genesis initiated. Somewhere out there, humanity's spirit had survived. Meanwhile, the Krathar celebrated. Across their empire, people cheered the fall of Earth. They called humans weak, primitive, emotional creatures. They believed the war was over. That humanity had been erased from history. But a few alien traders, months later, would tell a strange story about ghost signals coming from dead human satellites, about old ships moving silently through asteroid fields, about a message that kept repeating across unknown frequencies. "We are still here." Lyra listened to that message every night. Her heart burned with anger and sorrow. She swore to herself that one day somehow she would return to Earth, not as a victim, but as a soldier. In the cold of space, she whispered a promise. "They think we are finished." They're wrong, and far beyond her sight. A tiny transmission from Mars Station reached deep space, farther than any human signal ever had. It carried 5 simple words that would one day shake the entire galaxy. Humanity will fight back. The night sky that once burned with fire slowly faded to black. But in that darkness something new was born, not fear, not defeat, but the beginning of revenge. 10 years had passed since the day the sky burned. The stars looked the same, but the galaxy had changed forever. The Krathar Dominion ruled with fear. Their fleets patrolled every sector. Their banners hung over conquered worlds, and humanity was gone. At least that's what everyone believed. On the planet Vorga 9, a world of metal and smoke, alien merchants worked in silence. No one spoke of the war. No one dared to. But sometimes, when the nights grew quiet, whispers spread through the streets. Old soldiers told stories of ghost ships, black vessels that moved without sound, that attacked Krathar convoys, then vanished into darkness. No one ever saw the pilots. No one ever found the wrecks. Only one thing was always left behind, a mark burned into metal. Humanity remembers. The Krathar Council dismissed the rumors. Superstition, they said. Scavengers using old human tech. But deep down, some of them felt something they hadn't felt in centuries: fear. In one council meeting, Warlord Zyron slammed his fist on the table. I destroyed their home world with my own eyes. There are no humans left. His advisor replied quietly, "Then who is attacking our ships, my lord?" Thyrin turned away, his voice cold. "Find them. End this ghost story." Far across the stars, hidden inside an asteroid field, a small ship floated in silence. Inside, Lyra Kane checked her scanners. Her eyes were sharp, her voice calm, but her heart burned with quiet rage. 10 years ago, she had watched Earth die. Now she was part of something greater, something secret. A voice came through her headset. "Target confirmed. Krathar supply ship, Class Omega," Lyra nodded. "Engage on my mark." Her ship's engines came to life. No bright trails, no energy flares. Everything was dark, silent, invisible. 3 black ships moved like shadows, surrounding the Krathar vessel. Then, without warning, attack. Human pulse cannons tore through alien shields. Before the Krathar could even call for help, their ship exploded. No one survived. But on the drifting metal, a message was carved by plasma fire. For Earth. Lyra leaned back in her seat. Her co-pilot, an older man named Captain Jonah Hale, smiled faintly. "You never miss, do you?" She didn't answer. She just stared into the void. Jonah whispered, "They still think we're dead." Lyra replied, "Good. Let them believe that. It makes the fear stronger." Elsewhere, in a secret command base hidden beyond known space, Admiral Reyes studied holographic maps. Dozens of red dots marked destroyed Krathar ships. Each one a small victory. Each one a message. His second-in-command asked, "How long before they realize we're still alive?" Reyes didn't look up. "Not yet. Fear works better when they don't understand it." He zoomed in on the next target, a Krathar outpost known for experimenting on human prisoners. "Prepare the Ghost Fleet," he ordered. "It's time to remind the galaxy who we are." Meanwhile, across the Dominion, fear began to spread. Krathar soldiers refused to travel alone. Merchants changed routes. And on dozens of alien worlds, graffiti appeared overnight, written in human language. "We are coming." Some aliens started to believe the impossible, that humanity had returned from the dead. One night, on the mining moon Tassor 3, a Krathar officer named Reinar saw a dark ship land near the edge of the crater. Curious and afraid, he approached it. No sound, no light, just black metal and the faint hum of power. The door opened. He raised his weapon, but what stepped out was not what he expected. A figure in a dark suit. Helmet shining faint blue, human. The figure spoke in a calm, chilling voice. "Run. Tell them humanity is coming." Reinar didn't move. Then the human raised a hand and vanished into smoke. By morning, the entire mining base was gone. Every building reduced to ash. Reinar's escape pod was found days later. He told his commanders what he saw, trembling. They laughed at first. But when his story spread, morale across the Dominion began to crumble. In the command chambers of the Krathar High Council, Zyron watched the reports in silence. 27 ships lost, said his general. 3 bases destroyed. All signs point to humans. Zyron's claws tapped the table slowly. "No," he growled. "Not humans, ghosts." The general swallowed hard. "With respect, my lord, ghosts don't destroy fleets. For the first time in years, Zyren said nothing. The stars outside his window looked different that night, sharper, colder, alive. Back on the Ghost Fleet base, Lyra walked into the command room. Admiral Reyes stood by the window, looking at a small hologram of Earth, broken, burned, yet still turning. "We're not ready for open war," he said softly. "But the galaxy must never forget what they did." Lyra nodded. "They won't." Reyes turned toward her, his eyes filled with fire. Then let the echoes grow louder. In the silence of deep space, hundreds of human ships powered up, engines glowing faint blue. One by one they disappeared into the void, and with them the message spread again across every hidden frequency. "We are humanity. We remember. And we are not done yet." The galaxy had learned to fear the dark. For 10 long years the Ghost Fleet haunted the stars, silent, invisible, unstoppable. The Krathar Dominion still ruled the galaxy, but their power was cracking. Every few weeks another convoy vanished. Every month another base went silent. No wreckage. No survivors. Only the same message burned into metal. Humanity remembers. And somewhere in the endless void, far beyond known space, the Ghost Fleet prepared for something greater. Hidden inside a hollow moon, a massive hangar stretched for miles. Hundreds of human ships floated in the shadows. Old Earth destroyers, stolen alien vessels, hybrid fighters built from scrap. All bore the mark of the Phoenix, the symbol of rebirth. At the center of it all stood Admiral Reyes, the man who once watched Earth burn, now commanded the most dangerous, secret force in the galaxy. He looked over the ships and said quietly, "We were broken but not defeated. They took our world. Now we'll take their fear." Lyra Kane entered the command room. She saluted, her face lit by the cold glow of holographic screens. "Fleet ready, sir." "All systems stable. No detection," Reyes nodded. "Good. It's time to show the galaxy we're more than ghosts." He pressed a command on his wrist pad. Lights flickered across the hangar. Hundreds of ships powered up, engines humming low, glowing with a blue shimmer that seemed to breathe like living fire. Jonah Hale stepped forward, his voice rough from years of war. "Admiral, the Krathar have tightened patrols in the outer rim. If we strike now, they'll know we're real." Reyes looked at him, calm but cold. "They already know. They just don't believe. Let's change that." Across the galaxy, on the Krathar command world Draven Prime, Warlord Zyren received a new report. Dozens of ships missing. Entire sectors silent. Even his elite forces had started refusing missions into uncharted zones. He roared in anger. "Find these ghosts. I want proof. I want their heads." But fear was already spreading. Soldiers whispered that the humans were not dead, that their spirits had returned to hunt the living. Back in the Ghost Fleet base, Lyra prepared for her mission. Her fighter, Eclipse 1, was small, fast, and deadly. She touched the controls softly, whispering, "For Earth, for the fallen." Jonah's voice came through the comms. "You sure about this, Kane? You always volunteer for the first strike." She smiled faintly. "Somebody has to make the first move." The operation was called Shadowfall, a full assault on a Krathar military shipyard. If it succeeded, it would cripple the enemy's production lines. As the fleet approached, the darkness of space came alive with quiet light. Hundreds of black ships moved in perfect silence, forming a wave of death. No beacons, no transmissions, just the hum of vengeance. Then Admiral Reyes gave the order, "All wings, engage." The Krathar base never saw them coming. The first explosions came from within, systems hacked, shields disabled. Human ships dived through the wreckage, firing plasma bolts that tore through steel and bone. Alien commanders shouted orders, but their voices were drowned by alarms. The sky above the shipyard turned red. Lyra's fighter weaved through enemy fire, striking reactor cores, dodging missiles, leaving chaos behind. Her voice stayed calm as she reported, "Objective secure. Shipyard collapsing." "Copy that," Jonah said. "Pull out before—" A beam of light hit his ship. Static filled the comms. "Jonah!" Lyra shouted, but there was no answer. She circled back, searching, heart pounding. Through the smoke, she saw his fighter drifting, half destroyed. For a second, his voice returned. Weak, almost gone. "Finish the mission, Kane. Make them remember." And then his ship exploded in silence. Lyra didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just turned her ship around and fired everything she had. When the attack ended, the entire Krathar base was gone, nothing but glowing debris floating in the dark. She returned to the fleet, her face emotionless, her voice steady. "Mission complete." Reyes said nothing, but his jaw tightened. Another name added to the list of heroes who would never see Earth again. Hours later, a transmission echoed across deep space. Every Krathar channel, every frequency is hijacked by a human voice. Admiral Reyes appeared on screen. His face was calm, his eyes full of fire. "You thought you destroyed us. You thought you ended humanity. But we are still here. We have learned your technology. We have learned your fear, and now you will learn ours." The signal cut off. The entire galaxy went silent. And for the first time in generations, the Krathar Dominion felt something they had never felt before: terror. Back in the Ghost Fleet base, Lyra stood before the memorial wall, names of fallen humans glowing softly. She placed her hand on Jonah's name and whispered, "Rest easy. The war has only just begun." Reyes watched her from afar, then turned toward the stars. "Prepare the next phase," he said quietly. The galaxy wanted ghosts. Let's give them nightmares. The galaxy was no longer quiet. What started as whispers had become thunder. The Ghost Fleet was real. Humanity was alive, and they were angry. In less than a year, more than 50 Krathar fleets had vanished. Military stations destroyed. Supply lines gone. Whole sectors cut off. The Dominion was falling apart. No one knew where the attacks came from. Some said humans used cloaking tech. Others said they could bend light or turn invisible. But the truth was far worse. Humanity had learned to fight smarter. On the command world Draven Prime, Warlord Zyron smashed his claws against the war table. "You told me humans were finished," he shouted. The generals stood silent, afraid to speak. "They are not an army," one whispered. "They are shadows. We strike and they vanish. We chase and they appear behind us," Zyron glared. "Then we burn the shadows. I want every ship hunting them, every world watching." But fear had already spread too far. Even the most loyal Krathar soldiers started to doubt their strength. Far from Draven Prime, in the hidden base known as Eden's Reach, Admiral Reyes studied the chaos through a holographic map. Red dots, destroyed enemy fleets marked, glowed brighter every day. Lyra Kane entered the room. Her face was cold, but her eyes burned with determination. "The galaxy knows now," she said. "They're afraid of us." Reyes nodded. "Good, fear is a weapon, but we must use it carefully." He turned toward the map. "The Krathar won't stop until they find us. And if they do—" Lyra finished his thought. "Then we'll show them what true terror means." Weeks later, the Dominion launched Operation Final Dawn, a massive campaign to hunt down the Ghost Fleet. Thousands of ships spread across space. Every asteroid, every moon, every dust field searched. But the humans were always one step ahead. The Ghost Fleet struck from the shadows, appearing in small groups, attacking supply convoys, then vanishing into deep space. Lyra led one of those raids herself. Her squad destroyed 3 Krathar dreadnoughts in a single ambush. Not one human ship was lost. The message left behind was simple: we remember. The Krathar were desperate. They began using spies, hackers, and bounty hunters to find the humans' secret base. One of those bounty hunters, a reptilian smuggler named Tesk, claimed he had seen a human fleet near the Veil Nebula. He brought his evidence and a damaged human drone to the Krathar Council. Warlord Zyron looked at the small machine and smiled. "Finally," he hissed. "Now we end this ghost story forever." He ordered his fleet, 10,000 ships, to attack the Veil Nebula. Inside Eden's Reach, alarms rang. Lyra ran into the command room. "They found us." Reyes stayed calm. "Then it's time." He looked at his officers. "Activate Project Black Sun." Everyone froze. They had trained for this, but no one believed they would ever use it. Project Black Sun was humanity's last weapon, a massive gravitational core built from stolen Krathar tech. It could bend gravity, twist space, and crush anything caught inside its reach. But once activated, there was no turning back. Reyes looked out the window at the approaching enemy fleet, thousands of red lights glowing in the dark. "They think we are weak," he said softly. "They think they can erase us again. Let's remind them why humans should never be cornered." As the Krathar fleet entered the Veil Nebula, Their sensors went wild. The stars around them flickered. The gravity began to twist. "Sir, reading's unstable," one alien shouted. "What's happening to space?" Then from the darkness, human ships appeared, hundreds of them, glowing like blue fire. Admiral Reyes's voice echoed through every channel. "You called us ghosts. You said we were gone. But we are the storm that follows silence." The Krathar opened fire, but their weapons misfired. Their targeting failed. Their ships began to collide, pulled by invisible force. The black sun core had awakened. A sphere of light formed in the center of the nebula, bright, silent, endless. Krathar ships were drawn toward it, metal twisting, hulls collapsing. The ghost fleet moved through the chaos, striking clean and fast. Lyra's fighter dove through the storm, destroying enemy engines, covering retreating human ships. "Admiral, the field's expanding. We'll all be pulled in." Reyes watched the bright storm growing larger. "Not yet. Hold the line." Minutes later, half the Krathar fleet was gone. The rest fled in panic, their ships breaking formation. The black sun slowly faded, leaving only debris and silence. Lyra's voice came through the comms, breathless. "We did it." Reyes stood quietly, watching the remains drift away. "No," he said softly. "This is just the beginning." Word of the battle spread fast. Across the galaxy, alien worlds heard the same message broadcast on every channel. Humanity fights back. Some called them heroes. Others called them monsters. But everyone agreed on one thing, and the war had truly begun. The galaxy burned. After the Battle of the Veil Nebula, nothing was the same. Half the Krathar Dominion's fleet was gone. Their war factories were silent. Their communication lines broken. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy looked at the Krathar and saw weakness. And for the first time, they saw hope. But that hope had a name: humanity. They had survived the impossible. And now they were done hiding. In a distant system near a dying star, the ghost fleet gathered. Hundreds of ships, old, new, stolen, and rebuilt, floated in formation. At the center of them all was a massive flagship, larger than any human vessel ever made. Its name was Eden's Wrath, forged from the remains of Earth's last battle station and powered by alien tech. It was humanity's greatest creation and their most dangerous weapon. Inside the bridge, Admiral Reyes stood before a glowing Earth emblem. He stared at it for a long time before speaking. "For years we fought in the shadows," he said quietly. "But now the galaxy must see us. It must remember what we are capable of." Lyra Kane stood beside him, her armor marked with battle scars. "You're planning a full reveal?" Reyes nodded. "Every world, every channel. Let them see our face. Let them see our fury." Across the stars, screens flickered to life. Every network, every device, every ship in the galaxy received the same transmission. Admiral Reyes appeared, silent, calm, unbroken. "To all sentient races of the galaxy," he began, "you once believed humanity was gone. You were wrong." He paused, his eyes burning with emotion. "We are the children of Earth, the world you watched burn, the people you thought too weak to survive. You destroyed our cities. You murdered our families, but you could not destroy our will." The screen behind him changed, showing footage of human ships striking alien fleets, of soldiers saving prisoners, of destroyed Krathar bases. "We are not your prey," Reyes continued. "We are not your slaves. We are humanity, and we are taking our home back." The transmission ended. Silence followed, then chaos. Some alien races cheered. Others panicked. The Krathar Dominion went into full alert. Warlord Zyron stood before his council, furious. "They dare speak to the galaxy as equals. They are nothing but vermin." His advisor whispered, "Then why are we losing?" Zyron roared, "Because they fight like demons." He raised his clawed hand. "Prepare every fleet, every weapon. If humanity wants war, we'll give them one." In Eden's Wrath, alarms echoed as reports came flooding in. Dozens of Krathar fleets moving at once, converging on human-held sectors. Reyes watched the display. He knew what this meant. "They're coming with everything," he said softly. "Good, then we end this." Hours later, the stars lit up again. Thousands of ships clashed. The largest battle the galaxy had ever seen. Human cruisers fought beside captured alien frigates. The Ghost Fleet moved like a living storm. Fast, precise, unstoppable. but the Krathar fought back with fury. Their ships were larger, stronger, and endless. In the chaos, Lyra led a squadron deep into enemy lines, targeting their command carrier. Explosions ripped through the sky. Her fighter shook violently, but she didn't stop. "If we take out their command corps, the fleet will break," she said. Reyes replied through comms, "Do it, Captain. The future depends on it." As the battle raged, the Black Sun Corps was brought online again, now rebuilt inside Eden's Wrath. It was the ultimate weapon, but unstable. If used at full power, it could destroy both fleets. Reyes stared at the glowing sphere inside the main reactor chamber. His engineers warned him, "Admiral, the energy output is too high. If it overloads, we'll die with them." He didn't hesitate. "Then we die fighting." He sent a coded signal to Lyra. "Get your team out. I'm activating the core." Lyra's voice cracked through the static. "No, sir, you'll kill yourself." Reyes smiled faintly. "It's not about me, Kane, it's about them. The billions they took from us." As the Krathar fleet closed in, Eden's Wrath powered up. A massive pulse of light burst outward, swallowing everything in white fire. The shockwave tore through enemy ships, bending metal and space itself. When the light faded, the stars were silent. Half the Krathar armada was gone. The others fled. Eden's Wrath floated in the center of the wreckage, burning but alive. Reyes stood on the bridge, exhausted, his voice low. "It's over. For now." Hours later, Lyra's ship docked beside the damaged flagship. She found Reyes staring out the viewport, watching the remains drift across the stars. "We won," she said softly. He didn't smile. "Did we? The galaxy fears us now. They see us not as survivors, but as monsters." Lyra looked at him. "Maybe fear is what they need to understand us." Reyes turned away. "No, Kane, fear always demands a price." He looked back toward the stars. "And one day we'll have to pay it." Far away, alien children watched the broadcasted battle footage, their parents whispering about humans in fear and awe. Across the galaxy, one phrase began to spread again, louder than ever. "When humanity fights back, the galaxy trembles. The war was over. The Krathar Dominion, once the most powerful empire in the galaxy, was broken. Their fleets drifted in silence. Their leaders were gone, their worlds empty and afraid. And in the center of the stars, the survivors of Earth stood victorious. But victory has a cost. Inside the massive flagship Eden's Wrath, the corridors were quiet. Smoke filled the air. Sparks flickered across damaged panels. Bodies of brave men and women were being carried to the memorial bay. Admiral Reyes stood alone on the observation deck, staring at the endless sea of wreckage. The stars glowed faintly beyond the shattered hulls. He had dreamed of this moment for years, the day humanity would rise again. Yet now, standing in the silence of victory, it didn't feel like triumph. Lyra Kane entered the room, her uniform torn, face covered in dust. She looked at the Admiral, then at the ruins outside. "It's over," she said quietly. "We did it." Reyes didn't turn around. "Did we? Look around, Kane. The galaxy is on fire. The Dominion is gone, but so is half our fleet." She stepped closer. "You gave them freedom. You gave us hope." He finally looked at her, tired eyes but still strong. "Hope," he repeated softly. "Hope built on ashes." Across the galaxy, broadcasts spread the same image. Human ships standing above the ruins of the Krathar Empire. To some, they were heroes. To others, monsters. Many alien races who once feared the Krathar now feared something else. The humans. Whispers spread through the outer rim. They destroyed the Dominion in a single strike. They command black suns. They could wipe us all out. Fear began to grow again. This time, not of the Krathar but of humanity. In a secret meeting, the surviving Ghost Fleet captains gathered around a flickering holographic table. Their faces were tired, worn from years of war. One of them, Captain Mara Voss, spoke first. "We've done what we came to do. The Krathar are finished. It's time to rebuild." Another captain shook his head. "Rebuild what?" "Earth is gone. Our colonies are dust. Where do we go now?" Lyra's voice cut through the silence. "We start again. Somewhere new, somewhere safe," but Reyes remained quiet. His mind was somewhere else. Finally he said, "We can't rebuild yet. Not while the galaxy still fears us. If we rise now, every race will unite against us. They fear our strength, and fear makes enemies." The room fell silent. They all knew he was right. So what do we do, sir? Lyra asked. Reyes looked up, his face lit by the faint glow of dying stars. We disappear. Weeks later, a final broadcast echoed across the galaxy. It was short, simple, and calm. The voice of Admiral Reyes. This message is for every world that hears me. The war is over. Humanity will not conquer. We will not rule. We only fought to survive, he paused. The Ghost Fleet will stand down. We will go into the shadows once more. Remember us not for our vengeance, but for our will to live. The transmission ended. No one ever heard from the Ghost Fleet again. Decades passed. The galaxy slowly rebuilt itself. The Krathar homeworld became silent ruins, a reminder of their own arrogance. Trade routes reopened. New alliances formed, and stories began to fade into legend. Children on distant planets heard tales of the humans, the ghosts who rose from ashes, the warriors who destroyed an empire, the survivors who vanished into the dark. Some believed they were dead, others believed they were waiting. One night, on a small farming world at the edge of known space, a young alien child looked up at the stars. He had heard the stories all his life. His teacher said they were myths, but deep down he believed they were true. He pointed to a faint blue star in the sky and whispered, "That's where they came from. The humans." His father smiled sadly. "If they're still out there, son, let's hope they've found peace." The boy looked up again. In the sky for just a moment a small light moved, too fast for a comet, too silent for a ship. It vanished in an instant, leaving only the stars behind. The boy's eyes widened. He whispered softly, "Maybe they're watching." Far beyond that quiet world, deep in the black of space, a hidden fleet drifted in silence. The ships were old but alive and repaired, waiting. On one of them, a familiar symbol still shone bright, the Phoenix of Earth. Inside, Admiral Reyes stood before a small hologram of Earth, blue, broken, but still spinning. Lyra walked up beside him, older now, her voice calm. "You think we'll ever go home?" she asked. Reyes smiled faintly. "Home isn't a place anymore, Kane. It's a promise." He looked at the hologram, his voice calm